know that 5 former Secretaries of State who I admire enormously, Henry Kissinger, Jim Baker, Larry Eagleburger, Al Haig, Jim Baker, Henry Kissinger, Al Haig, Larry Eagleburger, and one other.
Joe's with us today. Joe, where are you? Where is Joe? Is Joe here with us today? Joe, I thought you were here today. All right. Well, you're all Joe the plumber, so all of you stand up and say, I thank you.
I just described what my plan is. And I'm happy to talk to you, Joe, too, if you're out there. Here's your fine, 0. You won't pay a fine because as I said in our last debate, and I'll repeat, John, I exempt small businesses from the requirement for large businesses that can afford to provide health care to their employees but are not doing it. I exempt small businesses from...
In case, I think you may have noticed that Senator Obama's supporters have been saying some pretty nasty things about Western Pennsylvania lately. And you know, I couldn't agree with them more. I couldn't disagree with you. I couldn't agree with you more than the fact that Western Pennsylvania...
The President has led with great clarity, and I think he's done a great job leading the country, don't you all? The President and I agree on most issues. There was a recent study that showed that I voted with the President over 90% of the time, higher than a lot of my even Republican colleagues. Now here is Ahmadinejad, that Al-Qaeda is going back into Iran and receiving training and are coming back into Iraq from Iran. That's well known, and it's unfortunate. So I believe that we are succeeding in Iraq. The situation is dramatically improved, but I also want to emphasize time and again, Al-Qaeda is on the run, but they are not defeated. I'm sorry, the Iranians are training extremists, not Al-Qaeda, I'm sorry.
No apologies, though, for a musical parody that many around the world took as a true sign of his thinking.
Bomb Iran, bomb, 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 bomb. Anyway, but I want to convince you of my belief and my firm conviction that America's economy, the fundamentals of it are strong.
I want to bring you back to Thursday in an exchange we had.
Actually, I don't know where you got that quote from. I'm very well versed in economics. Well, now I know where you got the quote from. Now I know where you got the quote from.
I will show you where I got the quote from. I got it from John McCain, and here it is. McCain is refreshingly blunt when he tells me, quote, I'm going to be honest. I know a lot less about economics than I do about military and foreign policy issues. I still need to be educated.
Well, you say you're sure she has the experience, but again, I'm just asking for an example.
Sure.
What experience does she have in the field of national security?
Energy. She knows more about energy than probably anyone else in the United States of America.
Do you think that she is the face of the Republican Party going forward?
I think to a large degree is Vice President or I think there's no doubt.
I can't trust Obama. I have read about him, and he's an Arab. He is not. No,
No, ma'am.
When you have an Obama, Pelosi, and the rest of the hooligans up there going to run this country, we got to have our head examined. It's time that you two are representing us, and we are mad.
Flyers fans, please welcome the best third hockey mom in the United States, accompanied by former Flyer Brian Croft.
Do you agree with the Bush doctrine?
In what respect, Charlie?
Bush, what do you interpret it to be?
His worldview? Government. I'm just going to ask you one more time, not to belabor the point, specific examples in his 26 years of pushing for more regulation. I'll try to find you some and I'll bring them to you. I was curious, what newspapers and magazines did you regularly read before you were tapped for this to stay informed and to understand the world?
I've read most of them, again, with a great appreciation for the press, for the media.
Like what one specifically, I'm curious that you...
all of them, any of them that have been in front of me over all these years.
Barack Obama, at a very young age, from like age 1 to 6, was with Islamic.
Is he a terrorist?
You want to sound right?
I just want to know if you think he's a terrorist. Do you think he's a terrorist?
I think he's a one-man terrorist cell.
No, the question I asked you is, can you name one other person that he hangs around with who's anti-Semitic? Because that's what you said.
Look, we all know that there are people who Barack Obama has been in hot water.
Michael, I asked you to name one person. One.
Rick.
You said he hangs around with people who are anti-Semitic. Okay, we got Khalidi on the table. Give me number 2. Who's the other anti-Semitic person that he hangs around that we, quote, all know about?
Rick, we both know who number 2 is.
Who?
What insight into Russian actions, particularly in the last couple of weeks, does the proximity of the state give you?
They're our next-door neighbors, and you can actually see Russia from land here.
You've cited Alaska's proximity to Russia as part of your foreign policy experience. What did you mean by that?
That Alaska has a very narrow maritime border between a foreign country, Russia, and on our other side, the land boundary that we have with Canada. It's funny that a comment like that was kind of made to, I don't know, reporters. Yeah, mocked, I guess that's the word, yeah.
Well, explain to me why that enhances your foreign policy credentials.
Well, it certainly does, because our next-door neighbors are foreign countries. They're in the state that I am the executive of.
Can I give you an answer?
Please.
I screwed up.
Well...